Well, folks, as you can see, Joe Biden has completely receded from the world stage. He is no longer present on the world stage. No one cares about him. He's completely absent. Donald Trump is, for all intents and purposes, already the president of the United States. So over the weekend, Notre Dame was reopened. There's a big ceremony in Paris. Obviously, there's a major fire there a couple of years ago, and it was rebuilt beautifully, by the way. I mean, it looks just phenomenal. And as CNN reports, the Notre Dame Cathedral provided the luminous backdrop for President-elect Donald Trump's return to the geopolitical stage on Saturday when French officials put an ornate line under the 5-year project to restore the soaring landmark with a reopening ceremony featuring dozens of world leaders. Macron held a private meeting with Trump as well as Ukrainian President Vladimir Zelensky. Macron himself is still trying to uphold his own government. Here's some of the video of President Trump arriving and being president because Joe Biden did not show up. You can see, I mean, it's gorgeous, by the way. I mean, it looks great. They've lit it all up. You can see Trump is there between the Macrons. Joe Biden showed up, but Joe apparently didn't feel like traveling. He stayed in the United States. There are a bunch of memes that were very funny of Jill talking to Donald Trump, making pretty clear that she probably voted for him. Meanwhile, President Trump, again, he's already the incoming president. It's fascinating to see the positions that he's taking because they are quite sane. They are quite sane. For all the talk about he's going to be like a radical, crazy, extreme, the positions he's taking are very, very sane. So, for example, President Trump did an interview over the weekend, and he was asked about NATO. And his answer was not, we're pulling out of NATO. He was with Meet the Press and Kristen Welker. It wasn't, we're pulling out of NATO. It was, everybody pays their bills, or we'll pull out of NATO, which is a way of using leverage. As I've said about President Trump, the man is a master of leverage. It is what he does. He's done it in all of his business deals. He got famous on TV by using leverage. This is what he does.
Will the United States stay in NATO while you're in office?
In where?
NATO. Do you commit that the United States will remain a member of NATO while you're in office?
Again, they have to pay their bills. If they pay their bills, absolutely.
But not if they don't pay their bills.
But NATO's taken advantage of us because we were look, two things. Number one, they take advantage of us on trade, meaning the European nations, okay, like terrible. They don't take our cars. They don't take our food product. They don't take anything. It's a disgrace. And on top of that, we defend them. So it's a double whammy. So let me just tell you, I was able to get hundreds of billions of dollars put into NATO just by a tough attitude. I said to the countries, I'm not going to protect you unless you pay. And they started paying. And that amounted to more than $600 billion. That's a big thing. Otherwise, they wouldn't even be fighting. They wouldn't have any money to fight. If they're paying their bills, and if I think they're treating us fairly, the answer is absolutely. I'd stay with NATO.
But if not, you would consider the possibility of
absolutely,
getting
yeah, absolutely.
Okay, so again, he's saying that as leverage. He's not saying I'm going to leave NATO. He's saying pay up because why are we footing your bills? And that's good. We want strong allies. Strong allies are good for the United States. Them paying for their own defense is good for them and good for the United States. Why should we fight their battles? They should fight their own battles. And all it requires is them spending a little bit more of their GDP on defense. I have to tell you about these close friends of mine who started a family business during COVID. It is very cool what they have done. Their stores include licorice.com, pretzels.com, caramels.com, cookies.com. If you watch Fox News, you've for sure seen their commercials. More than 1 million people have purchased their delicious products. If you're one of them, you know how addictive they are and how perfectly packaged everything is. We got a big box at the studio. Everybody here is going wild over it because it's amazing, amazing stuff. So let me slowly share their stores with you one more time. Licorice.com. Don't think Twizzlers. Imagine 60 flavors from all over the world. How about pretzels.com? If you're a big pretzel fan, this is the thing for you. Crazy varieties of seasoned, fresh-baked soft pretzels and, my favorite, chocolate-covered pretzels. Caramels.com. So I love caramel. This is the thing. You've never had caramels this soft and tasty. They have 50-plus flavors. And finally, cookies.com. Delivered fast and fresh. These cookies are awesome. They are magically delicious. So now you know where to buy all your holiday gifts. If I were you, I'd start ordering right now before they sell out. By the way, you can order today and schedule any delivery date you want, so gifts will arrive directly on time. Plus, if you use my special code BEN at checkout, you'll even get free shipping. Check out any of the stores mentioned to get great holiday gifts today. Okay, President Trump, here he is on tariffs. He says, listen, I'm using tariffs as leverage. Everyone who keeps pretending that he's going to sink the American economy out of just generalized love for tariffs, that's not why he's using tariffs.
Tariffs, I have stopped wars with tariffs by saying, you guys want to fight, it's great, but both of you are going to pay tariffs to the United States at 100%. And they have many purposes, tariffs, if properly used. I don't say you use them like a madman. I say properly used.
properly used. Okay. Then he was asked by Kristen Welker about Kash Patel at the head of the FBI. Would he militarize Kash Patel against his enemies? And here's his answer.
Is it your expectation, though, that Kash Patel will pursue investigations against your political enemies?
No, I don't think so.
Do you want to see that happen?
If they were crooked, if they did something wrong, if they have broken the law, probably. They went after me, they went after me and I did nothing wrong.
Well, let me ask you this. You said President Biden, quote, that you're going to appoint a real special prosecutor to go after Joe Biden. You said that during the campaign.
Where?
You said that on Truth Social, June 12th, 2023. I will appoint a real special prosecutor to go after the most corrupt president in the history of the United States, Joe Biden, and the entire Biden crime family. Are you going to do that? Are you going to go after Joe Biden?
I'm really looking to make our country successful. I'm not looking to go back into the past. I'm looking to make our country successful. Retribution will be through success. If we can make this country successful, that would be that would be such a great achievement. Bring it back.
So again, President Trump's metric is winning. It is not actually things like revenge. Even on immigration, President Trump, he says, listen, if we have families of illegal immigrants and we are going to deport them, then they have a choice. They can either leave together or they can be separated. I mean, that is, in fact, how law enforcement works. But he's asked about the Dreamers. Okay, these would be people who were brought here as minors, brought here at 2 years old by illegal immigrant parents and have lived their entire lives in the United States. Here's his answer. Does this sound like somebody who's an extremist to you?
We have to do something about the Dreamers because these are people that have been brought here at a very young age, and many of these are middle-aged people now. They don't even speak the language of their country. And yes, we're going to do something about the Dreamers.
What does that mean? What are you going to do?
I will work with the Democrats on a plan. And if we can come up with a plan, but the Democrats have made it very, very difficult to do anything. Republicans are very open to the Dreamers. The Dreamers, we're talking many years ago, they were brought into this country. Many years ago. Some of them are no longer young people. And in many cases, they become successful. They have great jobs. In some cases, they have small businesses. Some cases, they might have large businesses. And we're going to have to do something with them. And
you want them to be able to stay. That's what you're saying?
I do. Okay. I want to be able to work something out. And it should have been able to be worked out over the last 3 or 4 years.
Now, by the way, this is the thing about pragmatic Trump. Now, a lot of his followers right now are probably screaming at their TVs or phones hearing President Trump say this. President Trump is pragmatic. And President Trump, this is like Nixon going to China. Only Trump could get away with saying this publicly. But again, Trump is a pragmatist. He understands that realistically speaking, he is not going to move towards deporting millions of people who got here as 2-year-olds. He's going to focus on criminals first. Then he's going to focus on the people who recently got here. That's going to be the idea. He was asked about restrictions on abortion pills. And he says, listen, it's not the federal government's job. And the attempt to paint him as some sort of like right-wing extremist radical who's going to cram down fascism on the country, I'm going to need some evidence, guys.
Will you restrict the availability of abortion pills when you're in office?
Probably. I'll probably stay with exactly what I've been saying for the last 2 years. And the answer is no.
You commit to that?
Well, I commit. I mean, do things change? I think they change. I hate to go on shows like Joe Biden. I'm not going to give my son a pardon. I will not, under any circumstances, give him a pardon. I watched this, and I always knew he was going to give him a pardon. And I don't like putting myself in a position like that. So things do change, but I don't think it's going to change at all.
Okay, again, like this is not an extremist guy. So for all the talk about how Trump's going to be, he's not. He's actually really, really not. And so all the scare tactics that you've been hearing for years and years, they're stupid and they're wrong. Are you tired of the lies and the twists of the mainstream media talking points? Yeah, me too. Join me in my newest series, Fact, where I dismantle and bring truth to this tiring mainstream agenda.